something massive is happening right now. 70 Russian warships armed, deployed, and fully operational are now positioned across key global waters, all facing one direction, the west. Is this the calm before the storm? Or a powerful message the world can't afford to ignore? While the media stays quiet, the signs are clear. Russia is no longer watching from the sidelines. Stay with us, because what we reveal next will change how you see the future of global power. Brothers and sisters of Russia, the tides of history are turning once again. The winds that once carried the scent of diplomacy now blow colder, stronger, carrying the echoes of threats, pressure, and provocation from the west. But let it be known today, Russia is not sleeping. Russia is not blind. Russia is ready. 70 warships, armed, equipped, and strategically positioned, now watch the western horizon. This is not an act of aggression. This is not an invitation to conflict. This is preparation, forged in fire, shaped by decades of lessons, and born from the need to protect our sovereignty. The West has underestimated the Russian spirit, again. They believe sanctions, media narratives, and NATO exercises will break us. But we do not bend. We do not run. And we do not forget who we are. These warships are not just steel and missiles. They are floating fortresses of will. Every sailor, every officer aboard them is ready to defend our honor, not with hatred, but with duty. This is a signal. A warning. A declaration that Russia will never kneel. We want peace, but we are no strangers to war. And if provoked, if challenged, we will not hesitate to respond with overwhelming precision, with clarity, and with unshakable resolve. So let the West listen carefully. We are watching. We are prepared. And above all, we are united. Russia stands firm. Russia stands proud. Russia is ready. In today's rapidly shifting geopolitical landscape, Russia has taken a measured yet firm stance to secure its national interests. This is not a declaration of conflict, but a responsible move toward preparedness. The modern world is filled with complex threats, from shifting alliances to military exercises happening near Russian borders. In response to these developments, Russia has elevated its defense readiness. With calm, strategic focus, Russia has mobilized 70 naval vessels to strengthen its maritime awareness and safeguard its sovereignty. These warships are not a threat, they are a signal of national responsibility. Just as any nation would protect its borders, Russia is simply ensuring that its waters, coastlines, and maritime trade routes remain secure. This is not about fear. It's about vigilance. History has shown that peace is most stable when nations are strong enough to defend it. Russia's leadership understands that diplomacy and dialogue must be supported by strength, not to dominate others, but to deter reckless escalation and protect the peace hard-earned by generations. While some may try to portray this naval readiness as aggressive, the truth is far more grounded. Russia, like any sovereign state, has the right, and the duty, to defend its people, its infrastructure, and its position in the world. This is not about preparing for war. It is about preventing one. At a time when tensions rise and mistrust spreads across borders, vigilance becomes the highest form of responsibility. And in this, Russia is leading by example, ready, alert, but always rooted in the hope that peace will prevail. Russia's naval deployment of 70 warships is not a show of power for intimidation, it is a calculated, strategic measure to safeguard the nation's maritime frontiers in a time of rising uncertainty. These vessels are stationed in critical locations, from the icy waters of the Arctic to the vital choke points of the Baltic Sea and the Black Sea. Each zone represents a cornerstone of Russia's national security and global trade interests. These warships are more than symbols, they are advanced mobile defense platforms. Equipped with modern technology, satellite communication, and high-precision navigation systems, they serve as eyes, ears, and shields for the Russian Federation. Their placement is not haphazard, it follows years of maritime analysis, based on both emerging threats and shifting global naval patterns. Importantly, this deployment mirrors what many nations do during heightened periods of tension. countries like the United States, China, and NATO members frequently adjust their military postures in response to international events. Russia's decision to increase its naval visibility is therefore neither new nor unprecedented. It's standard practice for any nation protecting its territorial waters and economic zones. The presence of these 70 warships is meant to serve as a deterrent, not a provocation. It reflects a disciplined military philosophy: stay ready so you don't have to react in crisis. These vessels conduct routine patrols, monitor foreign naval activity, and ensure that any international maritime operations near Russian borders remain within lawful and peaceful bounds. Above all, their positioning sends a peaceful but firm message: Russia is watching, not threatening. It stands ready not for conquest, but for the preservation of peace, order, and maritime security. Russia's naval mobilization is not an offensive campaign. It is a lawful and rational step taken by a sovereign state to ensure its national defense. In today's world, where geopolitical lines are often tested and redrawn through diplomacy and military maneuvers, Russia's actions must be understood in the proper context, one of protection, not provocation. Every nation has the fundamental right to defend its territory, its people, and its interests, especially when foreign military activity draws closer to its borders. The increased NATO presence near Eastern Europe and the Baltic region, coupled with frequent exercises near Russia's frontiers, has prompted Moscow to re-evaluate its defense posture. But make no mistake, this is a response, not a threat. Russia is not seeking war. It is not issuing ultimatums or making demands. It is not invading or launching unprovoked attacks. Rather, Russia is signaling that it is alert, capable, and unwilling to be caught off guard by changing global dynamics. This posture is defensive at its core, much like how other countries build up their military capacity when they feel challenged or surrounded. In the modern era, defense is not about isolation. It's about visibility. By showing that it can defend itself, through diplomacy backed by deterrence, Russia aims to prevent misunderstanding, miscalculation, or misjudgment from other actors. These actions underscore a crucial message: Russia values peace, but understands that peace is only sustainable when a country demonstrates the strength and clarity to protect it. Just like locking your front door doesn't mean you distrust the world, positioning your defenses doesn't mean you intend to use them aggressively. Russia is simply making it clear: our door is closed to conflict, but it is protected, firmly and lawfully. Throughout its long and often turbulent history, Russia has faced periods of great challenge, foreign interference, and strategic betrayal. From the Napoleonic invasion to the World Wars, and later the post-Soviet geopolitical realignments, Russia has endured, not through passive optimism, but through resilience, preparation, and a deep understanding of history's lessons. One of those lessons is this: peace must never be taken for granted. It must be safeguarded, not only through dialogue and diplomacy, but also through readiness. Words alone do not preserve sovereignty. Treaties can be broken. Agreements can be misinterpreted. But a nation that is vigilant and prepared sends a clear message: it values peace, but will never be caught unprepared if peace is threatened. Following the Cold War, Russia entered a period of cooperation and strategic patience. It watched as military alliances expanded eastward despite earlier assurances to the contrary. It observed as its neighbors were drawn into foreign security blocs. And it remained restrained, always hoping that mutual understanding would prevail. But the world changed. Tensions rose. Dialogue gave way to deployments. Military infrastructure appeared closer to Russian borders, and joint exercises by foreign powers began to feel less symbolic and more strategic. From these experiences, Russia learned that relying solely on goodwill was no longer enough. That is why today's readiness, including the positioning of 70 modern warships, is not about confrontation. It's about never repeating the mistake of underestimating how quickly global dynamics can shift. It's about ensuring that Russian leadership, military, and citizens are never taken by surprise again. This isn't about rewriting history, it's about not allowing history to repeat itself. Russia does not seek isolation or escalation. It seeks balance. And balance can only be achieved when strength, memory, and foresight walk together. Russia's recent actions, including the deployment of 70 naval vessels, are not happening in isolation. They are a direct, measured response to what has become an increasingly militarized environment near its borders. Over the past decade, Russia has observed a steady rise in NATO military activity in regions historically considered sensitive and strategically important. Large-scale exercises, deployment of foreign troops near the eastern flank of Europe, and the expansion of missile defense systems have all taken place, not thousands of miles away, but on the very edges of Russia's sovereign territory. These movements have not gone unnoticed. And while Russia has long expressed its concerns through diplomatic channels, it now finds itself needing to translate those concerns into visible, peaceful deterrence measures. Russia's naval readiness is not about escalating tensions. It's about maintaining balance in a world where power projection is becoming increasingly common. When the skies are filled with surveillance aircraft, and neighboring seas host multinational drills, Russia cannot afford to assume that these actions are harmless. Instead, it chooses to prepare calmly, responsibly, and transparently. Importantly, this is not unique to Russia. Other major powers around the world, whether it be in Europe, the Middle East, or the Indo-Pacific, routinely strengthen their defenses when they feel encircled or pressured. Defensive readiness is not an act of provocation. It is a universally accepted principle of national security. By placing its naval forces on alert, Russia is doing what any nation would do under similar circumstances, sending a peaceful message through presence, not to intimidate, but to be understood. This is not a call for confrontation. It is a call for recognition. A call to respect sovereign red lines. A reminder that peace is best maintained not through the buildup of suspicion, but through clarity, consistency, and preparedness. Through the visible deployment of 70 modern warships, Russia is sending a message, one that is rooted not in hostility, but in unmistakable clarity. In a world where mixed signals can lead to dangerous miscalculations, this naval presence is a transparent reminder that Russia is aware, attentive, and unwilling to be sidelined in matters that affect its national security. This message is not an ultimatum. It is not aggressive in nature. Rather, it is a peaceful but firm assertion. Russia sees what is happening, and it is prepared to protect its interests, peacefully, responsibly, and lawfully. The placement of these warships is Russia's way of participating in the broader geopolitical dialogue, where presence often speaks louder than words. Military exercises by NATO near Russian territory, increased intelligence flights, and expanding alliances are all factors that demand a measured and visible response. But that response, in Russia's case, is not invasion, escalation, or aggression, it is preparedness. It is a posture of self-defense, designed to prevent surprise and reduce the chances of misunderstanding. The world has witnessed too many conflicts that began with assumptions, silence, or ignored warnings. Russia's approach is the opposite. By positioning its forces openly and predictably, it avoids confusion. It makes its intentions known. Russia will not provoke, but it will not be caught off guard either. And just as other nations conduct joint naval drills, patrols, and deployments near areas of interest, Russia too is exercising its right to readiness. This does not close the door to diplomacy. In fact, it keeps that door open by ensuring that communication happens from a place of mutual awareness and respect. The message to the West is simple: we are not looking for confrontation. But we will not stand idle while tensions rise around us. Russia is not threatening peace, it is protecting it, from a position of strength and foresight. At the heart of Russia's strategic posture lies a message often overlooked in the noise of international politics: Russia does not seek war. It seeks peace, a peace that is secure, sustainable, and rooted in mutual respect between nations. The deployment of 70 warships is not a prelude to aggression, but rather a demonstration of responsibility. It is a reminder that real peace is not built on naivety, it is built on vigilance, preparedness, and clear communication. Nations that value peace do not leave their security to chance, especially in a world where tensions can escalate quickly and unpredictably. Russia's naval forces, while powerful and capable, are first and foremost a deterrent, a way of saying that while we desire dialogue, we are not defenseless. This principle is echoed across the globe. Major powers from all regions take similar steps, not because they seek conflict, but because they understand that visible strength discourages rash decisions by others. Russian leaders have consistently emphasized that peace in Europe and beyond is only possible through balanced diplomacy and mutual security. However, when dialogue is replaced by pressure, sanctions, and military buildup near its borders, Russia must respond, not with confrontation, but with confidence and readiness. These actions are not intended to spark fear. They are intended to prevent missteps. A visible, professional, and disciplined military force makes the boundaries clear and reduces the risk of escalation through misunderstanding. The world must understand that Russia's goal is not to dominate, but to defend. Not to dictate, but to deter. Its readiness reflects not a thirst for conflict, but a deep commitment to avoiding it through credible strength. In the end, peace is not the absence of military forces, it is the presence of security. And Russia is committed to both. Behind every ship in Russia's naval fleet stands a team of dedicated professionals, sailors, officers, engineers, and support crews who represent the discipline, training, and resilience of the Russian armed forces. These are not individuals driven by aggression or ideology. They are servicemen and women guided by duty, trained in modern defense strategy, and committed to preserving national stability through readiness. The phrase battle ready does not imply a desire for conflict, it reflects a state of high preparedness, mental focus, and operational discipline. In a world where military tensions can rise with little warning, this readiness is not just beneficial, it's essential. The individuals aboard Russia's 70 warships are prepared to monitor, protect, and respond to any situation calmly and lawfully, should the need arise. Their presence is not just symbolic. It reflects months, even years, of training in navigation, communications, maritime law, and strategic defense. These personnel are not placed at sea recklessly. They operate under strict codes of conduct, guided by international norms and national directives. Their mission is peacekeeping through presence, not provocation. Moreover, morale among Russia's naval forces remains strong. Their clarity of purpose, defending their homeland and upholding national sovereignty, gives them strength. They understand the stakes, and they act with caution, intelligence, and professional restraint. While many may view naval deployments purely in terms of machinery or firepower, it is the human element that defines true capability. These servicemen and women embody Russia's historical resilience, calm under pressure, unified in mission, and committed to national defense, not military conquest. Ultimately, their readiness is not a threat to the world, it is a shield for their country. Their professionalism stands as a model of how a modern nation defends peace, with competence, confidence, and unwavering discipline. Russia's naval deployment across multiple seas is not merely about numbers, it is about strategic positioning and ensuring security over vast and vital regions. With 70 warships actively deployed, Russia now maintains a broad and calculated maritime presence that stretches from the icy waters of the Arctic to the vital shipping lanes of the Pacific Ocean, and from the Baltic coastline to the deep waters of the Black Sea. This geographic distribution gives Russia what defense experts call strategic depth, the ability to monitor, deter, and defend from a variety of directions and potential points of tension. In a world where threats can emerge suddenly, having a navy capable of flexible response is a fundamental element of modern national security. Each region has its own strategic importance. The Arctic, increasingly open due to climate change, holds untapped resources and new shipping routes. The Baltic Sea is bordered by several NATO states and sees frequent military exercises. The Black Sea connects to global trade routes and borders volatile regions. And the Pacific Fleet ensures balance in an Indo-Pacific region marked by growing naval competition. Russia's maritime reach enables early warning, surveillance, and protection of critical infrastructure like undersea cables, oil and gas terminals, and national borders. It also allows for disaster response, anti-piracy operations, and maritime rescue, responsibilities shared by any major naval power. It's important to note that Russia's naval activity, like that of other nations, is governed by international maritime law. Patrols are conducted in international waters or Russia's exclusive economic zones, with a focus on presence, not provocation. In a world where naval presence often shapes geopolitical realities, Russia's expanded reach is a statement of responsibility, not aggression. It signals that Russia is watching its waters, protecting its coastlines, and maintaining balance in a way consistent with the rights of any sovereign nation. Peace is not maintained by retreat, it is maintained by showing up, standing firm, and ensuring no vacuum exists for misunderstanding to grow. Among all the ships, systems, and strategies, Russia's most powerful asset is not technological, it is human. It is the unwavering unity of its people. Across generations, through wars and upheavals, through economic challenges and geopolitical shifts, the Russian people have stood together, not as individuals, but as one nation with one purpose, to defend what is theirs. In moments of global tension, this unity becomes more than patriotic sentiment, it becomes national strength. It means that citizens understand the stakes. It means that military personnel, families, workers, leaders, and youth alike know that freedom, peace, and sovereignty are not simply inherited, they must be protected, preserved, and passed forward. This unity isn't built overnight. It is forged through shared history, through the sacrifices of previous generations who endured hardship to keep the country strong, safe, and sovereign. And today, as Russia positions its 70 naval vessels to safeguard its maritime frontiers, that same unity remains the heart of its national defense. Importantly, this solidarity is not directed against others. It is not about division or hostility. It is about focus, about protecting the values and interests that make Russia unique and resilient. Whether in Moscow or Murmansk, Vladivostok or Volgograd, the message is the same: we are ready not because we seek war, but because we understand peace must be earned and kept. In a world of shifting alliances and rising uncertainty, unity gives clarity. It ensures that decisions are made not in fear, but in confidence. It provides stability in times of tension. And it reminds both allies and rivals that Russia does not stand alone or uncertain. While military equipment can be replaced and strategies updated, unity is irreplaceable. It is the soul of the nation, calm, unwavering, and ready for any challenge. Russia's strength lies not just in its fleet, but in its people, standing as one. In a world that often moves fast and forgets the lessons of the past, one thing must remain unshaken: our sense of who we are. Russia doesn't prepare for war because it wants one. It prepares so war never comes. It stands firm, not in arrogance, but in the knowledge that true peace is only possible when a nation is strong, united, and ready to defend what matters most: its people, its future, and its freedom. These 70 warships are more than steel and firepower. They are symbols of discipline, vision, and national pride. Behind them stands a people who know their history, respect their ancestors, and never forget the price of survival. And that's the message the world must hear: Russia is not afraid. Russia is not divided. Russia is ready, for peace, for protection, and for whatever tomorrow may bring. Russia, if this message moved you, if you believe in strength through unity, and peace through preparedness, then don't just watch. Stand with us. Support content that speaks truth, inspires thought, and defends clarity in a noisy world. Backhand index pointing right. Subscribe to the channel now and be part of a community that values understanding, resilience, and the unshakable power of the Russian spirit. Movie Camera. Every week, we bring you real stories, deep insights, and updates that the mainstream often overlooks. Loudspeaker. Your support fuels our mission, and every subscriber strengthens our voice. Bellhop bell. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join us on this journey. Because the truth deserves to be heard, and Russia deserves to be understood. Together, we stand stronger. Together, we stay ready.